So you're scared to get on video and create content. And all the advice that you keep hearing are things like, you have to get over your fears. Just post it. Oh, you got to stop worrying about what other people think. But the thing is, you already know all this stuff. And you know what getting on video and creating content can do for your brand, your business, you as a person. If you didn't, you wouldn't even be watching this video right now. But there's still something holding you back right now and you know it. And I'd be willing to bet it's probably the same exact thing that held me back for years. You see, I've been exactly where you are right now, but I got out of it. I went from being embarrassed to make video content to the point where when someone would bring it up, literally my face would turn red and I would shy away from even talking about it. I went from that guy to becoming one of the top video creators on LinkedIn. Is that what they really say? Yes, that's what they say. Who says that? The people on LinkedIn have said that many times. So, okay, you know what? I got a video here to make and I'm blocking out any of this internal negative dialogue that I don't even need to hear right now. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't have the magic bullet. I can't just say one thing in this video that's gonna miraculously get you out of where you are now to where you wanna be. But what I can and will do is this. In the next few minutes, I'm gonna share with you my journey and the transformation that I went through. I'm gonna point out some of the things I was doing in my mindsets and belief systems when I was the embarrassed video creator, and then talk to you about what actually changed for me to where I became a confident video creator that now when people ask about my video content, if someone came up to me now and said, "You're creating video content?" I'd be like, "You're damn right I am. And you better go watch them because they're valuable as shit." It's completely on the opposite ends of the scale. And I've studied this for years, my own experience in working with hundreds of other companies and over 1,000 creators. I've learned some things. I figured out what it is. But again, I'm gonna share what I went through and try and be vulnerable and authentic and sharing my story in hopes that you'll take some of what I talk about today and part of my story, and you'll take that and that will be able to help you get through this phase. Because guess what? Your favorite creator has the same doubts and insecurities and fears that you have. They just refuse to let it get in the way of them accomplishing what they want to accomplish, of them building their brand, their business, living their dream life. So with all this being said, let me take you back to 2016. It's 2016 and I'm working in corporate America at a great company. I'm a B2B salesperson. Now I realize at this point that the way the customer is buying is different. And I'm starting to realize that people are consuming, they're doing more research, they're watching videos on YouTube, they're searching for content to get more educated along their buyer journey. I'm starting to piece this together and I'm starting to also realize at the same time, I think I've got some potential in this. Like, I think I could be the one out here educating buyers and prospects and landing deals, building a brand without having to cold call and cold email and knock on doors every single time. I thought maybe this is a way, if I provided so much value, I could get my customers to come to me. So I start creating YouTube videos. Now, I wish I still had these videos. I really wish I do, but unfortunately I don't. I deleted them years back because again, I was embarrassed. I wasn't confident. I was insecure. So I'm so embarrassed to create these videos. I won't create them at home in front of family. I won't create them in the office in front of colleagues. So what I ended up doing is I would come in on Saturdays and I would make a video or two every single weekend. I remember one day someone came in the office on a Saturday. It wasn't crazy uncommon for people to show up on a Saturday and get in some work before noon. Someone came in and they were like way down the hall. They weren't even close to me. But I knew that they could probably hear me talking now, at least like a faint echo of me talking, and I couldn't make the videos. I was so fixated on he's going to hear me making these videos and think, what the hell is this guy doing? Like, who does he think he is? Why is he making these videos? So that day I shut it down and I stopped making videos. Now I ended up making about 10 to 12 videos. I would post them on YouTube and then I would take the link and I would send them via email to prospects, to people in my pipeline, to current customers, just trying to get feedback and trying to figure out if they like the videos, are they getting value from them? And hopefully it was going to start conversations and help me close more deals. There were a couple people that were like, hey, I kind of dig these videos. And then there was a couple people that were like, hey, can you please take me off your email list? And I was like, I don't have an email list, but I will definitely never send you this video again if that's what you want. Now, a few weeks go by and we have this big office meeting. And there's maybe, 75 people in our office. So not a massive office, but a good amount of people that you could be embarrassed in front of. And someone brings up as kind of a joke, they're having fun with it. I didn't take it, too negatively, but they bring it up and I was so insecure about things that I was very embarrassed. But they said, hey, you probably don't know this, guys, but I was scrolling through YouTube the other day and what did I see? Who popped up? Alex. He's making videos. He's a YouTube star. And I remember my face just getting red. And I remember feeling like I wanted to just crawl under my desk. I didn't want anyone to know about it, even though I was posting the content on YouTube and sharing it with potential customers and customers. You know, it was weird because I was kind of proud of doing it, but at the same time, I didn't want anyone to know about it. Now we'll get into why that is here in a bit. But long story short, I didn't see many results. I got a couple pieces of negative feedback. I got embarrassed in front of my office, which that's on me. That's not even on them. And I quit making videos. Now, again, this is 2016. I don't dwell on the past. I never think, oh, I wish I would have done this, or what if I would have done this different? It doesn't matter. But I'd be lying to you if I said the thought never crossed my mind at least once. What if you wouldn't have quit in 2016? Where would you be today? Now, as I reflect back on that moment that I decided to quit, I'm pretty sure I was telling myself the same things that a lot of people tell themselves in terms of excuses on why they're not creating content, and specifically video. And you've probably said a couple of these yourself. Things like, I don't have time right now, right? I just need to focus on my job. You know what? This video thing's taking too much time. I don't have the time for it. Look, if it's a priority, you make time for it. If it's not a priority, you don't. Someone that's fit and in shape and takes care of their body and their health, mentally, physically, it's a priority. Someone that doesn't, it's not. Another common excuse that I would have used is, I just don't know how to do this. I don't think I'm doing it right. Now, nowadays, we have more resources than ever. There's paid stuff, there's non-paid stuff, there's content libraries, there's YouTube channels. Like, you not knowing how to do it is not a valid excuse. You'll also hear things like, I don't have a team, right? All these big creators, they got these massive teams. That's not how they started in most cases. You definitely don't need a team to get started. Nobody's saying you need to post 10 videos a week on your first week. And even if you work for a company or you're the CEO of a successful company and you've got a team, there's people working for you now that can handle some of this. Another one, I don't have the right equipment or setup to make video content. Really? Because it's cheaper now than it ever has been to make video content. I'm talking high quality video content. Pretty much if you got a smartphone and maybe you pick up a wireless mic or a decent mic for $100, you're in business. The equipment thing is no longer an excuse. It used to be back in the day, sure, but not today. And finally, this one. What if it doesn't work? What if I fall flat on my face? What if I get embarrassed? What if people make fun of me? What if people hate on me? Now we're getting closer. Now we're getting closer to what's really going on. Because typically all those other excuses, those are surface level based excuses that are hiding what's really going on beneath the surface. And I'm going to get back to my story here in a second. But when I hear those excuses come up, I say, hey, is creating video content and content in general, building a brand, is it a priority for you? If they say no, then it is what it is. Go do your thing. We have nothing to talk about. If it is a priority, then again, you got to look at those excuses are really just masking what's really going on beneath the surface. So let's get back to my journey as I bring it back to 2016 when I quit. Why did I feel so embarrassed about making video content? Why was I so discouraged? Why did I have so much doubt? When I was realistically probably 6 to 12 months, if I would have continued to get better and learn, away from a decent sized breakthrough, away from one of those videos turning into a customer signing up with us. I could almost guarantee that would have happened if I just would have stayed the freaking course, but I stopped. And for some of you, you haven't started yet. Why is that? I've boiled it down to 3 key things. Now, as I go through this process and I learn more about myself and my journey, I'm sure I'll add to this or maybe subtract to this or maybe combine some, but this is where I'm at today. The first one and the most important one was that my purpose, my mission, my vision, my why, whatever you want to call it, wasn't strong enough to overpower the insecurities, the doubts, and the outside influences. The only reason that these fears and insecurities and doubts get in your way, and I mean get in the way of doing anything, is because you've allowed those things to be bigger than your actual purpose. Go meet someone that's 100% dialed in, focused, they know their purpose, they know their why, they know where they want to go, and they're ultra crystal clear about it. Little things don't get in the way. Doubts don't get in the way. Insecurities don't get in the way. They're still there. It's a real thing. But as I mentioned before, your favorite creator, your favorite business person, entrepreneur, sports player, they push past it. And I'll give you a quick example, right? I'm recording videos in the park. There are many times when someone would walk by, particularly if it's like an attractive girl or something, and they're walking by and I see them walking by as I'm making videos. The insecurity and the doubt in me goes, oh, this is awkward. Like I should just like pretend I'm messing with my tripod. Like, let me just I'm fixing stuff and then I'm going to record here. So it's like, no, you're not, dude. You're stalling so they can pass because you're embarrassed to make videos in front of people. Why? Because you care way too much about what people think. You're insecure and your purpose hasn't trumped all of these other little things yet. Look, I'll be honest. Sometimes that still affects me, right? It does. But I'm getting to the point now where I'm training my mind to say, when I think like that, I go, my purpose is way greater. And the impact that I want to make and what I want to accomplish is so far greater than a bunch of random people walking by the park that may see me recording a video. Now that takes building that mental muscle. It doesn't happen overnight. And what's funny is you think about those people walking by, we oftentimes think that they're saying like, oh, what's this person doing making videos? Why are they making videos in the park? Who are they? What do they think they're doing? Who do they think? Oh, they must think they're cool. They're not even thinking that stuff. They're probably thinking two things. One, about their own life, because they have a trillion things going on too. They're not focused on you. You're not that important. I'm sorry to break it to you. But number two, even if they are thinking about you in that split second moment, they're probably thinking something along the lines of, this person's got courage. Man, they're really putting themselves out there. They're going for it. They're not afraid to do this in public. Wow, I could never do something like that. You see, our mindset and our belief system is just so backwards sometimes. And that's what really gets us hung up. And by the way, on the confidence piece, because people are like, oh, I'm just not confident making videos. I'm not confident recording in front of people. I'm not confident creating content. I'm not confident putting myself out there. Of course you're not. You've never done it before. How could you be? Why are you setting unrealistic expectations with yourself that you're supposed to be amazing at this and have everything figured out on day one? What sport would you go play? What hobby would you go try? What activity would you do for the first time that you'd be amazing at? None. So don't expect it to happen with this. The way you build confidence is you commit to something and then you actually follow through. You put in the work, you get the reps in. And then what happens is your identity starts to shape around, I am someone that when I commit to something, I do it. I am building competencies and skills, which leads me to be more confident, not only in that skill set now, but now me as a person, me as a human being, because now I'm somebody, I have the belief system now is, hey, when I say I'm gonna do something, I freaking do it. And I don't let things get in my way. And look at any confident person that you know, real confidence, not arrogance, not fabricated confidence, but real confidence comes from someone that they probably have hit a few bottoms. They've had some tough times, but they've overcome it. They've committed to doing something and they've gone and done it. They've put themselves out of their comfort zone and they've triumphed because of it. So don't give me the whole, I don't have confidence yet. Of course you don't. You got to go build it. I would encourage you to keep asking why. I don't want to create content right now. I feel like I don't have the time. Why? Is it not a priority? Why? Well, it is. I just like every time I try to create it, I don't think it turns out good. Why? Well, I just overthink it. Why? I'm wondering, if I post it and it doesn't get a good reaction, now why would that bother you? Right? Keep going deep. People stop at like one or two and then that's it. You're never going to get to the root cause doing that. Number two, the second thing that held me back from creating video content and getting past this hurdle was I treated creating videos just as an activity attached to a result versus me building skills, versus me building habits. I look back to 2016 and I don't ever remember being like, I'm going to become great at this. That stuff really didn't cross my mind because I was thinking about it from a transactional level. I need to create 10 videos and then hopefully X, Y, and Z happens. I create 12, nothing happens. I wasn't focused on building a skill set or habits or anything like that. And so it's discouraging. And then you end up quitting. When you obsessively focus on how could I become better at my job, better at my craft, better at the thing that I want to get good at, you watch what happens over time when you stay consistent with that. You end up building the skill set and the habits, and that leads to all the results that you want. Now, because I didn't look at it like building a skill set and habits and more as just an activity that I checked the box on, I wasn't training, I wasn't getting training, I wasn't getting coaching. I really wasn't developing myself in any way. And I definitely didn't have a strategy. And number three, and this is a big one, I was making a short-term commitment when really what I needed to do was make a long-term commitment. I was saying, I'm gonna make a video next week. Hopefully that's the one that takes off. I'll make a couple more videos. Hopefully one of these, something happens. And when nothing happens, and it typically doesn't in the very beginning, you get discouraged fast. Instead, if I would have said, hey, I'm going to commit to this for a year straight, 2 years straight, and I'm gonna get better, I'm gonna improve, I'm gonna evolve, but I'm not gonna quit. In 12 months, in 6 months, whatever it might be, I'll assess and see if I need to make changes or pivot. But I'm not just gonna create 10 to 12 videos and expect that to take me to the promised land. And most of the time, what's really sad is people are this close to a major breakthrough, but they quit a month earlier. They quit 3 weeks earlier. They quit 6 months earlier. And if they would have kept going down that path, it could have literally changed their lives, changed their business forever. On top of the commitment thing, you need to be building processes and systems to help you stay consistent and long-term. I've got a ton of videos on this type of stuff, but we're not going to go into it today. But when you build processes and systems and the right habits around those, that allows you to stay consistent long-term. And that's something that I just didn't have back in 2016. So back to my story. Let's flash forward to 2019. I decide to get really, really serious about creating videos and content. I decide to get really serious and I prioritize building a brand, specifically on social media and on LinkedIn. And I'll be honest with you, I was going through a tough time professionally and personally. My career wasn't going the way I wanted it to. I wasn't really happy. I wasn't really fulfilled. I didn't really want to be doing that job anymore. I knew that. I knew there was something more that I was supposed to be doing. Like I had this voice in my head since I was a kid. Like, you're supposed to impact the freaking world, man. You got all this potential. You're trying to make videos. You're writing a book on sales. You're writing trainings for people to use at your company. All of this pointed to you should go try to build something. You owe it to yourself to do this. Personally, I was going through a divorce at the time. I have two beautiful and amazing daughters. I love you guys if you're watching. And we ended up in a 1-bedroom apartment and I slept on a mattress on the floor. It was humbling times, but it was also great times because we just enjoyed every second of it and we made the most of it and we learned and grew from it and became closer. Now, I don't think that you need to hit some kind of bottom or face some ultra tough time to make that shift. Not at all. That's why I'm talking to you right now today. It doesn't take that, but it does take a shift. It does take a mentality shift. It does take a new set of belief systems. It does take a recalibration of your purpose, your mission, your why. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be challenging. You're going to feel awkward. You're going to feel embarrassed. Bring it on, baby. Let's go. Get me embarrassed. Let's go. I actually started saying in my old job, I started saying, I'm going to try to purposely turn my face red today. I'm going to try to purposely embarrass myself because the interesting thing about fear is it loves to live inside you as a host and it doesn't want anyone else to know. It lives deep inside you and it just eats away at you. But the moment you bring that fear out, the moment you say, hey, this is my fear, I'm exposing it to the entire world, and you don't let it eat inside you anymore, that fear loses its oxygen. It loses its host and it can no longer operate. That fear has nothing to go on. So it tries to go to a different host. It tries to latch on to somebody else that's going to bury that fear deep down inside them. So whatever fear you got, whether it's creating content, video, or anything else, run towards it. Share that stuff with people that you trust or you're close to or the world, however you want to roll. The more you start putting it out there and getting confident with saying, look, I'm kind of scared of this. Like, this kind of makes me nervous. I'm a little uncomfortable right now. The more that fear starts leaving you. It doesn't want to host what it exposes it. It wants to stay hidden and keep eating away at you. So I get serious in 2019. I make the commitment. The 3 things I just mentioned that held me back, I flipped the script and did the complete opposite. I got very clear on my purpose, on my why, on my mission, what I wanted to build. And I had to mentally tell myself, Alex, you're going to be embarrassed. You're going to be way out of your comfort zone here. You're going to have people make fun of you. By the way, haters are a good thing because they just fuel the algorithm. Bring it on. Let's go. I love when people comment on my stuff, especially early on. These videos don't belong on LinkedIn. This is blasphemy. I'd be like, cool, brother, but you're feeding the freaking algorithm. You're giving me more juice. You're helping my posts get out to more people. So let's go. Thank you. And by the way, if you hate it so much, why'd you watch the damn video? So I got clear on my purpose and my why. And I said, look, there is no insecurity or fear or doubt that is going to trump that. I know exactly what I want to do and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get there. I stopped looking at content creation and creating video content and marketing and building a brand as an activity. And I started looking at it as a skill, as habits, as things I needed to build and work on. I started thinking about things like, how do I create better hooks? How do I make a video that educates, but also slightly entertains? How do I tell a better story? Let me experiment with different styles and formats. It was no longer an activity. It was a skill set I was building. And finally, I made the commitment that this was a long-term thing. I said, I'm not quitting. If I get 3 months in and I'm doing absolutely nothing, and I pretty much was the first 3 months, I had 7 posts in a row on LinkedIn that literally got 0 likes and 0 comments, absolutely nothing. Imagine being on that 8th post and being like, my last 7 did nothing. Like, I don't even know if that's possible anymore. 0. And I was like, purpose is stronger than my fears and my doubts, my insecurities. I'm in it for the long haul, building skills. I'm trying to get better here. Let's move on to the 8th post. I had a long-term mentality. I said, I'm doing this for years. I said, it's plan A. This is it. This is what I want to do. It's this or I die. It's that simple. February 2020. I win my first customer in this business by creating content on LinkedIn, specifically videos. July 2020. I'm putting in my 2-week notice in my corporate job and I'm leaving to do this full time. I built my dream on the back of LinkedIn video content. I will never say that it's the easiest road or that you're not going to have challenges or that you're not going to have these doubts and insecurities come up. I will just say that please, if you're willing to push through it, if you're willing to get aligned with where you want to go and who you want to be, and you're willing to battle through that uncomfortability and that awkwardness, there's so many amazing things waiting for you on the other side.